I hope that from next week's COP26 we see governments come together and to stop seeing climate change as a political issue, to look at it as a human rights issue and to collaborate to find solutions to fix it.
Good morning. Good morning to all our friends across the UK, and good afternoon, good evening to our friends in Japan, and welcome everybody to this Climatetech Innovation and Investment Roundtable. I'm Simon Bond from SETsquared, and as we all look ahead to COP26, the UN Climate Change Conference in Glasgow next week, I know we have the highest expectations of all of our leaders, but this is a global problem, and it's bigger than any single country, any single leader. It requires a concerted global action, and that is all of our responsibility. Now, for that reason, SETsquared, the award-winning business accelerator of the Universities of Bath, Bristol, Cardiff, Exeter, Southampton, and Surrey, and the Japanese government's external trade organization, JETRO, we've got together, and with some of the companies that should give us hope that we can find a way through the challenges of climate change, we have put together what I think is a great and exciting and inspiring agenda for you this morning. You're going to hear from leading investors and experts in climate tech, and we have a number of pre-recorded short presentations from SETsquared companies. You'll be hearing from Kelpi, Albotherm, Ecomar, Naturbeads, Nuspec Oil and Utonomy, whose innovations are all part of our solution. Then later, after 9:45, you'll be able to meet with those companies in the breakout rooms, chat with the founders, make appointments, get together and see if we can progress these innovations together. Now, to kick things off, it gives me great pleasure and I'm absolutely delighted to introduce our keynote speaker this morning, Fumiko Araki. Good morning, Fumiko. Now, Fumiko is the General Manager of the Ventures Office of the Technology and Business Development Division of Mitsubishi Chemical. Very important organization and a critical role for all of our futures. Fumiko, thank you so much for coming along this morning. I'm going to hand over to you. I know you've got a really interesting presentation for us all. Thank you, Fumiko.
Thank you, Simon, for the kind introduction. Let me share my slide and I will start from there. I'm not sure you can see my slide. Can you see? Is it with you, Simon?
I can see your slides.
Okay, great. Okay, then let me start. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to join this wonderful event. Special thanks for SETsquared and JETRO to invite me, and I'm happy to share our activity and journey for carbon neutrality. First, let me introduce a little bit about our company. We are the largest chemical and material company group in Japan, covering chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and industrial gases. Our business coverage is broad because we serve as an enabler by delivering materials and services in the market from automotive, electronics, construction, energy, medical, healthcare to environment. Putting all this diverse activity together is our mission, Kaiteki. This is a Japanese word meaning comfort, but we defined it a little bit broader as the sustainable well-being of people, society, and our planet Earth. Our vision is to realize Kaiteki, and carbon neutrality is one of the key drivers to enable this vision. As you may know, last October, Japanese government committed to carbon neutrality by 2050. This was followed by announcement of GHG reduction target and new energy plan, which was just approved by the cabinet last week. There are increasing number of countries who target net zero, but enforcing it into law is still a few. Actually, we have been doing great. So 6 continuous years of lowering GHG emission, realizing 40% reduction from 2013, as shown in this scorecard. But the new target now is totally different perspective. The line is now sharply down to 0. It's a new horizon and honestly a very tough target. As you may know, Japan is an island country with less flat grounds and stable winds. naturally facing high price of renewable energy and have burden on electricity cost. So how we are going to achieve this? This means that every stakeholder have to join forces and make a step change, including us corporates. 1/3 of Japanese CO2 emission come from industry sectors, and we need to reduce 40% of it in 9 years. Among it, 20% is from chemical sector. Our subsidiary company, Mitsubishi Chemical, is emitting 1% of total Japanese CO2. So we have a clear stake in it. But we also consider this disruptive change as a new opportunity because this push growth to new sectors. For example, these 14 growth sectors are announced by the Japanese government as a private technology or innovation area for investment. And this event is in a very good timing because last week on 20th of October, we announced our company's target in numbers and also what it means for us. By 2030, we're going to reduce GHG emission by 29%, by 2050 to 0. This will be an effort in local as well as global. How are we going to do this? The first step until 2030, this is going to be a big challenge as we aim to reduce around 40% GHG emission domestic. We're going to achieve this by promoting energy conversion, introduce internal carbon pricing system, and apply LCA assessment to all the products and material. GHG reduction in energy is crucial part, as I just mentioned, where we need support from our suppliers. So this external factor is also going to have a big impact to our achievement. To make this change, we will make a 100 billion yen investment during this period, which means around $1 billion US. In the second step, we will continue all this effort and implement new action as feedstock transformation to biomass. It is again largely influenced by external factor, is a little bit small, but it's written there, like carbon neutral electricity, government subsidized, and infrastructure development for hydrogen and ammonia. We are going to invest more than the first step. And we also understand this is a very, very steep mountain to climb. And there's no paved road to go to the peak. We need to accelerate collaboration with external partners and innovators, test more out-of-box ideas, and drive innovative breakthroughs. So we need to diversify our innovation approach. Diversifying innovation approach, this is actually the basic concept why we venture group was initially created. In our company, we position CVC as one of the foundation to drive transformation. We are a still young group established 3 years ago. We established also Diamond Edge Ventures as our CVC arm in US, and we work as one team. Our team is made by external experts from startup and investment world and combining with internal expert. We are passionate and happy catalysts to close gap in culture difference or geographical difference, mode of action between startup and our business unit. We also is not a unit who is only doing investment, but we also create internal ecosystem for startup engagement. We create community to pioneer new field. We facilitate engagement, and we invest to deepen trustful partnership with startups. As a track record, we receive around 1,000 deal flow per year, and so far introduced more than 1,000 startups into our group companies. This led to more than 200 engagement up to date, including 13 joint development agreement and 6 business contracts. Let me share several initiatives and engagement we announced recently around carbon circularity. We started engagement with UK startup called Mura. which has unique technology on plastic to oil. It led to license agreement of its technology to be applied to Japan's largest plastic chemical recycling facility, which is going to be constructed together with the top oil company in Japan, ENEOS. This is a unique technology called Hydro-PRS. Again, it's very small, but it's written in the middle. Using supercritical water to turn plastic to oil, it can use any plastic waste and it's scalable. We anticipate to use this recycled oil as raw material to close the loop for carbon circularity and give new life to waste. We also have another engagement project with Japanese startup company called Microwave Chemical. In this project, chemical recycling for acrylic acid is demonstrated using microwave in pilot plant, as shown here. This project is done in partnership with Honda, where acrylic resin are collected from end-of-life cars and bring back to monomer to be used to make new product. Microwave is a new and old technology. It enables efficient use of electricity for chemical process and open door for carbon neutrality by using green electricity in future. This year, we run an accelerator program focusing on circular economy, and the name is Kaiteki Challenge. You know now what is Kaiteki, I'm sure, but let me repeat. It means the sustainable well-being of people, society, and our planet Earth. As you know, two of the largest challenges to sustainable well-being today are the overconsumption of resources and generation of waste. Although this is a global and social challenge, it has personal touch because it is connected to our daily lives in the food we eat and the comfort we enjoy. As a company providing plastic, food packages, and food ingredients, we know these three themes are going to be crucial. And also, we know we cannot solve it by any one company. So we call for partners to reimage together the concept of protein, plastic, and packages. The uniqueness of this project is that it is a program focusing on POC, proof of concept. Each theme was backed by a business unit with market insight and channels, and startups are open to access to these rich resources to validate their concept. We were so honored to receive applications from 115 startups across the globe who are interested and resonated with our concept to tackle these three themes. This slide shows the wonderful partners we worked on POC together. Because of COVID, the whole program was done fully online against our initial plan, which add new challenges like virtual discussion and brainstorming, time differences, joint work without visiting each other. But we made it through by passionate devotees on both sides, which was truly amazing experience. Actually, two of these finalists are located in UK, which proves that we can work in partnership across the continent and ocean, even in COVID era. We announced the joint work with one of the cohort, Circleize, on material traceability in supply chain. Tracking and certifying recycled material and bio-based materials will be important for visualizing carbon circularity or GHG emission in each layer of the value chain. So we invited our customer Dai Nippon Printing as user and a waste collecting and recycling company Refer Inverse into the project. With us as material supplier, we could cover the entire value chain of this carbon circularity to test Circleize's unique blockchain technology. I would also like to touch how we work with our portfolio companies. Currently, we invested into 6 companies, 2 in US, 3 in Europe, and 1 in Japan. We have engagement with all of them, but let me introduce 2 cases to give you a feeling. We work with Fluence Analytics, a US startup, who developed online monitoring system for polymer reactions to promote more efficient and digitalized way of production. Polymer reaction is a black box, and often you do not know what happened till you open the reactor. This continuous measurement, combined with proprietary analytical tools, enable real-time visualization and optimization of reactions, benefiting both production and R&D processes. We have been running a lot of POC in various plants across several material types, achieve data, and at the same time supporting Fluence to brush up their solution with our expert input. Now we start to have a business relationship with them. In sustainability area, we invested into Lactips. It's a French startup who makes biodegradable polymers from milk protein. It is a game-changing material to tackle the problem of global plastic contamination with its interesting property like water solubility in low temperature, biodegradability, gas barrier properties, and even edibility. And it can be processed as usual thermoplastics. We see great potential to solve ocean plastic problem and enhance carbon circularity by teaming up to accelerate deployment of this innovative material. We are so happy to work closely with the wonderful people and innovator in our portfolio companies and amazed by their motivation to make the world a better place. We are committed to our engagement with startup for a long term, so we announced our fund of 10 years of $200 million this April. We have a fund to facilitate partnership for business expansion and started a new fund to explore fields where we aim to create business in future. Platform Fund will help the cases where we have a collaboration topic, and Frontier Fund will help the cases when we share the same goal to tackle big challenges as carbon neutrality. Let me finish with this slide on our focus areas. We focus to the market segments where startups lead the disruption and change the rule of the market. These 8 circles are the area we believe to shape the future world, and we have invested into startups in the segment where startups are crucial partners. There are more descriptions in each circle, so if you're interested to learn more, please do not hesitate to contact me via Jetro or SETsquared. With this, I'd like to give back to Simon. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Fumika. That was fascinating and incredible depth to your delivery and I guess most importantly the vision for the company. It's so impressive. I think the thing that really sticks in my mind is how you are able as a major global corporation to reach through to the proof of concept stage of innovation and actually develop opportunities through different stages of funding or different stages of customer engagement through your own business units, but beyond that, through your supply chain as well. I think this does create a benchmark for innovation ecosystems that we must all aspire to. So I thank you for that. And I believe you're able to share these slides with the delegates afterwards. So I know that many of the startups in SETsquared will be poring over the detail of that and wanted to understand much more about, well, every aspect, including the Katake challenge. Now, you're going to join us after the first round of videos from our companies on the panel, and we get to speak some more. So thank you very much again, Fumiko, and I'll see you in about 10 minutes. Now, to delegates, colleagues, friends who are at this morning's roundtable, in a second, I'm going to introduce the first 3 company pitch videos. Do remember, if you have any questions for Fumiko, for the panel, put them in the chat box. Also, remember, you'll have a chance to meet with the companies live, so to speak, at 9:45 in the breakout rooms. And on top of that, additional contact opportunities. There is a contact form fill that out if you have to leave before the breakout rooms open, and we'll make sure that you get in touch with the companies. So with that, could I introduce the videos for Kelpi, Albotherm, and Ecomar?
Hello, good morning, and konbanwa if you're joining us from Japan this morning or this evening there. I'm Neil Morris. I'm the Chief Executive here at Kelpi, a sustainable biotech company based in Bath, and talking to you today from the world-class laboratory facilities of the University of Bath, where Kelpi develops its proprietary biopolymers in order to build sustainable packaging bioplastic materials from seaweed. Why do we use seaweed? The seaweed is a miracle crop. It grows prolifically. Kelp, for example, can grow up to 0.5 metre a day. And as a renewable and sustainable biomass, it's a vital ingredient as we wean ourselves off fossil fuel plastics to still be able to use the huge advantages of plastic packaging, for example, to preserve food and reduce food waste, an equally important climate change target. So Kelpi was born at a time where climate change has become the dominant theme for businesses. And I'm delighted to talk to you today about some of the experiences that Kelpi has had as an investable pre-seed investment business, but with a focus on the huge impact that we believe effective bioplastic packaging can do to reduce the carbon emissions associated with fossil fuel plastic packaging. 99% of the world's packaging at the moment is developed from fossil fuels. But that 1% that's currently bioplastics is growing at a phenomenal rate. So left to its own on the current trends, by the year 2050, more than 15% of all the world's oil would be used to create plastics. Kelpi is one of a small number of businesses looking at seaweed and other biomass to try to change that, to move us from fossil fuel plastics as the core of our packaging products into a world where renewable biomass takes up that slack. Why seaweed? Well, one of the advantages, of course, is that it requires no fresh water, no land, and no fertilizer to grow. So land can be used for what it's really needed for, which is growing food. And the opportunities for seaweed cultivation are huge. Of course, for those of you joining us from Japan this morning, you'll be fully aware there seaweed has been eaten for thousands of years, and there are a number of companies I'm aware of who are already developing alternative applications for seaweed. Few, however, are focused where Kelpi is on thin film packaging. Why thin film? Well, it's the least recyclable and the least recycled of any packaging product. So Kelpi focuses on that area, and we've got a number of developments here in the lab where our biopolymers are applied to meet the demands of our corporate clients. Those are large industrial clients, many global brands whose corporate sustainability targets mean that Kelpi is an ideal supplier to them in order to be able to address their carbon emissions targets or otherwise deliver their sustainability goals. So, for example, Kelpi is working on a thin film plastic for a large food company who've asked us to be able to replace their current rigid fossil fuel plastics with thin film plastics that have particular performance requirements. We're also working with a personal healthcare and cosmetics company whose brief to us was, we want our packaging to become part of the product itself. A fascinating challenge for Kelpi. The team here comprises a mix of scientists and entrepreneurs. Our CTO, Professor Chris Chuck, is a professor of chemical engineering here at Bath, and our chief polymer scientist, Dr. Stephanie Federle, is an expert in biopolymers. Her PhD focused on that. Alongside Chris, Steph and the rest of the group in the lab, we've got a commercial team that are experienced and seasoned entrepreneurs who can apply their business expertise to ensuring that we develop a viable business that can address the 3 Ps: people, planet and profit, because we firmly believe that it's only by developing a vibrant and viable, profitable business that we will be able to have the sort of impact on the use of fossil fuels that we believe is really needed today. It's only by becoming the global force in bioplastic packaging that we are determined to make Kelpi that we can achieve our goals of displacing fossil fuel plastics and making sure that the oil stays in the ground where it belongs.
My name is Molly Allington. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Albotherm. Albotherm is developing temperature-responsive coatings that transition from fully transparent to white as they heat up, to reflect heat and passively cool the interiors of buildings and greenhouses. Our technology is used to ensure future food security and to lower carbon emissions associated with air conditioning. By 2050, the world's population is projected to reach nearly 10 billion, and in that time we need to produce 50% more food than we are currently capable of producing to feed the world's growing population. At the same time, the area of arable land that we have has decreased by 30% over the last 40 years, so we need to massively increase the productivity of every area of farming land that we have left. Our technology can be used in commercial greenhouses to passively control temperatures while maximising light. Market entry for our product is straightforward in greenhouses, where our technology offers a step improvement above current solutions. However, for the buildings market, the two biggest drivers are cost and legislation. We predict our technology to be much more cost effective compared to current market solutions, costing tens of pounds rather than hundreds of pounds. And we're also primed to scale as soon as new legislations are brought in to improve energy efficiency in buildings. Our technology was originally developed at the University of Bristol by myself and my co-founder Dr. Sian Fussell during her PhD at the Bristol Centre for Functional Nanomaterials. At this time, we were awarded an Innovate UK grant as part of the IKIL programme, aiding universities to spin out commercial companies. Using this grant, we've been able to develop a minimum viable product and are currently in the process of filing patents for our technology. I hope that from next week's COP26, we see governments come together and to stop seeing climate change as a political issue, to look at it as a human rights issue and to collaborate to find solutions to fix it.
Hello, my name is Eugene Barry. I'm the Managing Director of Ecomar Propulsion. We specialise in zero-emission marine propulsion for the commercial market. Across the world, the demand's growing exponentially year on year. People are asking for solutions for all kinds of commercial vessels, everything from super containers down to the smallest workboats. We exclusively manage our expertise within the workboat sector, and that's the short distance ferries, in-harbour vessels, that sort of thing. Across the world, we've measured 1.9 million vessels that can be immediately transferred, retrofitted into green technology. All of those vessels are going to have to do that at some point, and that's just in the small boat sector. As we grow and as the market adapts to the new green technologies and the requirement for zero emissions, carbon reduction, nitrous oxide reduction, it's a massive, massive business. Shipping produces 3% of the world's carbon emissions, which is the same as the aviation sector, and yet we've had almost no restrictions placed on the sector as a whole, and so that growth we expect to grow into the billions of dollars per year, possibly even the trillions in the next decade. We look at the supply chain right from the beginning to the end, so we do environmental audits of every single component that we do, and we can make a very accurate calculation as to what the environmental impact of all our products are. In terms of construction and fabrication, the way we're designing the business model is to have micro factories, micro assembly plants all across the world. And what we want to do with that is to reduce the supply chain, both in terms of logistics, but also in terms of delivery to the end user. The team at Ecomar are highly experienced. We come from a variety of high-tech and engineering backgrounds. We have a very strong maritime interest. We also have a very strong high-technology engineering side, with experience in aerospace, in armaments and defence, and also in marine. With regards to the IP, we're developing some quite interesting and unique systems. In particular, we're looking at the control management, we're looking at range extension, we're looking at integration of hydrogen into the supply chain and into the power packs. So that what we're aiming to do is to make it a completely self-sustained, long-term value creation for both the business and for shipping as a whole. This has an ambition in terms of climate change. We set ourselves a target of 1 million tonne reduction of CO2 within 5 years. We're actually increasing that target now to 5 million tonnes within 5 years. There is an ambition there to radically reduce shipping emissions as quickly as we possibly can.
Well, thanks there to Eugene, Molly and Neil, and remember everybody that you have a chance to speak to Neil, Molly and Eugene in the breakout rooms from 9:45. Compelling pictures, I'm sure you'll agree. Can I welcome back Fumiko, and also welcome to this to this panel with Pippa Brawley, who is the co-founder of Zero Carbon Capital. Morning, Pippa. And
Morning.
Colin Stakem, Innovation Manager with SETsquared. Hi, Colin, how are you?
Good morning, good afternoon.
Yeah, marvelous. Thanks for coming together this morning. Fumiko, I just wanted to kick off with you, if I may. You can see this, those kind of great examples of sorts of early stage ventures that SETsquared is able to back with great ambitions. Do you think that this momentum that we can see now behind COP26 is going to change the market? Will it increase the speed at which climate tech companies are going to be able to scale? Will they get more resources as a result of this?
Yes, so I fully agree that there's a momentum now. And I had a chance to talk with like big investors in a kind of this circularity or climate tech event. And they were saying that climate tech or ESG type of investment deals are in their agenda now. And 2 years ago, it was kind of not exist even in their list. So I think the momentum is there. And also thinking about the kind of exit environment, especially in US, many kind of climate tech or clean energy startup are having a big exit. So also for the exit environment, it's kind of giving a very big dramatical change, which is favorable for all these climate tech or clean tech startups, I think.
That's interesting.
Also like, there's a lot of government subsidies coming in, and also maybe consumer and social, awareness is helping this. So I'm working in this field from 2008 after the Lehman shock. At that time, clean tech was really difficult field for investor to join, but now it's like every investor is very much interested in. So it makes the life of also early startup easier. That's what I believe. But still, like this area takes time and take capex or resources. So whether you ask me that it will shorten the period of go-to-market, is still that I think we have to be really aware and have a shared understanding. It will take time, but still I think yes, I think this momentum is accelerating the whole industry.
Well, that is good news, but like you, Fumiko, I mean, we remember the first wave of climate tech in the mid 2008, that kind of period, and how it came to an end. So momentum, but sustained momentum is going to be critical here. Pippa, can I ask you pretty much the same question, but also take an opportunity, perhaps you could share with the delegates today your journey with Zero Carbon Capital, because you've scaled with the industry, and I know you've got some really exciting plans going forward. But, how do you think it's working out for the company?
I agree with Fumiko. I think there's a lot of momentum coming behind the net zero movement, but it's Well, you know us, we've always got the big vision and trying to get there as quickly as we can. And, you know, I think we're still really frustrated to see so many companies who are kind of really dragging their feet and not acting on climate with the urgency that it really needs, and avoiding, you know, any kind of expenditure until they're really forced to. So, you know, we really need our political leaders to be putting in place the regulation that we need and the effective systems to make sure that we are holding companies to account for their actions and holding countries to account for their actions. And you know, our belief is that this kind of entrepreneur are so crucial as part of that to make these innovations that will enable net zero to happen more quickly. Because they're enabling technologies to be cheaper and faster and better than what we currently have in place, so that switching over to a green alternative becomes a really simple decision to make.
Yeah, I mean, some of the numbers are eye-watering that get banded around, but the interaction between private capital and public capital, I think, is fascinating here. You can see great releases in every country block of public funding for these kinds of companies, climate tech companies. Fumiko talked about the IPO markets, the exit markets in the States. That's very promising. But there's a bit of an issue here, isn't there? Public money from a single country backing companies that exit in other markets. How are we doing in the UK, Pippa, aligning private capital on this mission, particularly for the early stage companies?
Sure. You know, as you say, I think the government is doing a pretty amazing job at putting money to work for early stage companies. I think, you know, pretty much everybody we heard from this morning has benefited from an Innovate UK grant or a BASE grant at some point. So I think we've got quite a good and kind of coherent program in place that is aligning entrepreneurial efforts with the government's strategic priorities. We see, you know, there have been more and more climate-focused funds coming into the UK market, and more like conventional cross-sector VCs who are starting up something that's more climate-specific. So that is definitely starting to happen. You know, we're still, you know, trailing way behind the US, where there are, you know, so many huge climate funds which are coming to fruition, and you know, getting involved over here as well. So, you know, it'd be great to see more funds really stepping up to the table in the UK, and enabling more of these great companies to get their financing here and to get the support they need here, rather than having to look overseas.
Thanks, Pippa. Colin, may I just turn to you, because you've got your finger on the pulse of how companies are using access to public money in the UK to leverage investment in their businesses. How's that working out? How did we had a budget, I think, this week, I think. How's it going for our companies?
I mean, the rise of the net zero agenda and climate tech definitely is of interest to SETsquared, the university partners, because each of those university partners possess world-leading centers of research excellence in energy, in manufacturing, in transport, in environmental technologies. And we do see significant opportunities for businesses and universities to capitalize on the increasing public and private investment in new and emerging technologies to support the global shift towards net zero. I mean, if you just look, I mean, Sam, you mentioned earlier, if you look at the UK, the recent or fairly recent announcement of the 1 billion net zero innovation portfolio with its focus on 10 priority areas, I mean, that will greatly accelerate the commercialization of low carbon technologies, decreasing the cost of the, decarbonizing the costs of the UK economy, and setting the UK on a path towards a low carbon future, which is the most important thing. And some of the funding commitments I've seen have been very, very positive. The Ofgem and Innovate UK, £450 million for their strategic innovation fund, the £220 million industrial energy transformation fund, the £240 million net zero hydrogen fund. I mean, these are all really, really positive steps in the right direction. With that in mind, I mean, SETsquared, we are playing our role as well. We are launching a sustainable innovation campaign, inviting companies and researchers to apply for specialist support to develop strong R&D project applications for a range of grant funding applications aligned to the net zero agenda, from agri-tech, clean tech, to future clean mobility and more. We're really keen to work with companies to help them build those productive long-term collaborative partnerships with the university partners to be able to create these long-term sustainable solutions that will help mitigate the worst effects of climate change. And in addition to that, SETsquared, through our investment program, we are working with the same companies to help them raise private investments to leverage the public funded grants that we're looking to support. So if I use one example, our Regional Angel Investment Accelerator, or our REA program, is a partnership with the United Kingdom Business Angels Association. And through that program, we are helping to de-risk investment in early stage, highly innovative companies through co-investing angel capital alongside an Innovate UK grant. And as part of that process, what we do is we work very closely with the ventures to help them create compelling applications, grant applications, while the UKBA promotes that opportunity amongst amongst the angel network. So there's lots that we're doing. We're definitely playing our role in accelerating the shift towards the net zero economy. There's always more we could be doing, but I'm pleased to say that we are taking a strong step in the right direction.
Yeah, you've reminded me, thanks for that, Kelpi, Neil, who we saw pitching just a few minutes ago, Kelpi closed a round with that REA program just this week, which was a lovely business angel network close on the private side with an Innovate UK grant facilitated by SETsquared. That's the kind of early stage work that we absolutely delight in doing, obviously connected to our universities, which is critical for us. I'm fascinated, Fumiko, with the Climatetech challenge as Mitsubishi's intervention for early stage. Could you, you shared some information about that. Fascinating. How do foreign companies get involved in that?
Yes, so we designed this program really open to global. So it's not domestic market, it's really global market, because we know this theme is not a local, it's a kind of global and local problem. We actually stated very clearly it's going to be a corporate partnership program. So we also want to help the startups vision and what they're aiming for, but we are looking for the focal point that we can work together, and then we can run some kind of POC that really help the company to step forward, as well as we want to contribute in that process. So we actually selected at the end that the companies that we really can believe that we work together. And I think after the 6-month effort of working together, even in the COVID era, I thought that it wonderfully proceed well. So we were really working in a partnership, which we were really looking forward to. So I think there's a lot of accelerator program in the world, but for this kind of concept, like circular economy or climate change or so, I think bringing a lot of stakeholders together in a test bed or demonstration, more and more this kind of thing is needed. So I think one of the role I thought as a corporate to contribute is that kind of bringing a place that we can work together beyond the value chain or beyond the technology or differences and so on, to really create some new step into and a kind of really tangible result to be shared into the market.
And how long would a company spend in Climatetech challenge? Is it cohort?
Yeah, we stayed. Yes, we stayed the POC period as 6 months, but this is also including the planning stage and so on. So the real work is around 5 months, and of course some didn't finish in time because it's sometimes a very big target to accomplish. So we also continue some partnership afterward the program finished. So the program finished in the end of September, but many of them is still ongoing, this partnership.
No, that's fascinating. I'm Pippa. This is our kind of world, isn't it? That interaction with
early
the
stage
accelerators.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for Miko, did the Climatetech program lead to any pilots for the companies that were taking part with Mitsubishi Chem?
Yes, so one of the announcements we did in the public is the one I showed. So we circularized that we did this demonstration together with the value chain partner. So we thought that it's important that not only Circularize and us is working on that, but really like the value chain player is come together to do this demonstration. So it's a kind of very still early stage, but that's kind of achievement that we could share at the moment. And also the other parts we are working on. So we really hope that we can announce very soon.
Yeah, super valuable for the early stage companies to have that kind of support.
It is though, isn't it? And the ability at that early stage proof of concept to be able to see through the supply chain to end user markets, but at scale, getting that kind of insight right from the DNA of the company is I think time is marching on. We've got another round of pictures to come up, so I'm going to thank Colin for joining the panel. Great to see you, and thanks for updating us on the great work of SETsquared in this sector. And Pippa, Fumiko, you're going to join me after the show. See a few more videos, and we'll have a chance to chat a little bit more.
Great.
Okay,
thank you.
Let's cut across to the videos, and I think we're going to hear from Naturbeads, Nuspec Oil and Utonomy next.
Hi, I'm Giovanna, CEO and co-founder of Naturbeads. At Naturbeads, we are scaling up an innovative technology to manufacture cellulose in spherical form. We do this because we want to replace spherical plastic microbeads. Plastic microbeads are intentionally added to many products we use every day, so there is a big demand to replace plastic microbeads because they are used in paints, they are used in cosmetics, they are used in materials for construction, and unfortunately, once they reach their end of life, they end up in the environment and they pollute the food we eat, the water we drink, and the air we breathe. And for this reason, we want to replace plastic microbeads at the source with cellulose microbeads because cellulose is a natural and biodegradable material. Naturbeads team is working to make our business financially and environmentally sustainable. We are looking to source cellulose from sustainable forestry. We are working to recycle all our solvents, and we recently filed a patent that will streamline our process so that we can reduce our environmental impact and production costs. Our business has a direct impact in mitigating climate change because we want to replace plastic, which is produced from fossil fuel and contributes to greenhouse emissions, with cellulose, which is a renewable and abundant resource. In Japan, there is a well-developed market for high-tech cellulose products like nanocellulose, and we believe that our cellulose microbeads could be a strong addition to a portfolio of natural, biodegradable and renewable materials.
Hello, I'm Natalia Stawniak and I'm co-founder and director of Nuspec Oil, a company developing biodegradable and renewable base oils for production of environmentally acceptable lubricants and oleochemicals. As we all know, pollution from plastic has detrimental impact on our environment. We all have seen shocking pictures of plastic floating in ocean. However, not many of us know that contamination from lubricant based on toxic mineral oil is contaminating our ocean 4 times more. On the other hand, electrification of automotive sectors and new environmental regulation creates an urgent need for new base oils due to promoting this use of fossil fuels. Nuspec Oil's patent-pending products can directly replace fossil-based oil without the need of reapproval and reformulation and final lubricant blends. Our oils are biodegradable, biorenewable and non-toxic to the environment. The manufacturing process which we are using to produce our base oils is based on cavitation phenomena. This allows us to produce nano base oils with particularly good lubrication and friction properties. Nuspec Oil just completed the pilot production trial, and we're now looking for investment to scale up our production and fulfill first orders of 4,000 tons per year. We aim to unlock the value of vegetable oils through partnering with various supply chain players. This will make our supply chain resilient and robust. Nuspec Oil team is a blend of plant siting and tribologists with track record in improving vegetable oils through predictive breeding, novel processes, and bespoke formulation. With our constant drive to innovate, we want to unlock the value of natural resources and reduce the friction.
Yeah, my name is Adam Kingdon. I'm the CEO and founder of Utonomy. We have developed innovative technology for reducing the leakage on the gas distribution network. The leakage of methane is a massive global problem, with over 10 million tons of methane lost from networks globally each year. And this costs consumers over £12 billion per year. But the real issue is that this is a disaster for the planet, as methane is 84 times worse greenhouse gas than CO2. So all this leakage adds up to a phenomenal 840 million tons of CO2 equivalent. The way we reduce the leakage is by controlling the pressure in the network. If you can optimize the pressure and reduce it on average by, say, 15%, then you'll reduce the leakage by 15%. Now, this is much harder to do than you might imagine. So currently, pressure in the network is controlled by thousands of gas governors. So each town or city has many gas governors feeding it. And today they're all set, or nearly all of them are set, at a fixed pressure. And the problem with that is that demand varies massively. On a cold winter morning, you may have 100 times the demand that you have on a warm summer evening. And because these governors are difficult to adjust, and they have to be adjusted manually, it means that they need to be set for the worst case scenario, i.e. that cold winter morning, which means that most of the year they're set at a pressure which is unnecessarily high, and all that excess pressure leads to excess leakage. So what Utonomy does is we retrofit patented and very innovative hardware onto the governor station, which means we can remotely control it. And this hardware then communicates via the 4G mobile phone network with our cloud-based software. This means that the governors are continuously and automatically adjusted so that the pressure in the network is as low as possible without going below the minimum. So all the excess pressure is taken out of the network, and that reduces all the excess leakage. So after extensive field trials in the UK, we've now got product approval for the solution, and we're going to start rolling this out in one of the UK networks at the beginning of 2022. It's been technically very challenging to develop this technology, and it's required a very highly skilled and experienced multidisciplinary team headed by a very talented CTO. Now, the team has to cover mechanical engineering, electronics, software, and of course AI. What I'd like to see at COP26 is more action on methane. It's one of the most effective measures and can have an abatement cost of 0 or negative.
Very good. Welcome back, and huge thanks there to Naturbeads, Nuspec Oil and Utonomy with Adam's call to action there from COP26. Now, can I welcome back Fumiko and Pippa, our panelists, and also invite Karen Brooks, who's Program Director with SETsquared. Morning, Karen. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks, Simon, for letting me join.
My pleasure. Now, Karen also, she's lead on a really exciting program for SETsquared. It's called ICO's Innovation Commercialization of University Research, which develops products and projects from our university. Karen, I know you have some new news about the ICOR program for this sector. Rather than me fumble over the words, let me hand over to you.
Well, I'm glad you remembered what ICUR stood for, because I'm not sure I can ever remember. But no, it's a great program, and we heard Albotherm mention ICUR in their presentation, and they came from that program. And Colin mentioned, the universities and the research that comes out of this. I think we heard from Pippa and Fumiko the importance of innovation. And of course, some of those startups and those innovations will come from the research bases of universities. And the ICUR program, of course, is not just from our universities. We take applications from universities from across the UK. So that's quite exciting that we're able to support beyond our 6 universities. And we have this program allows the teams to look at their research and do some market discovery work to understand what the market potential is for their research, and really go and delve into lots of different markets. And what we're launching today is a sprint, a slightly shorter program than we would normally do. They normally take 3 months. They're going to take 2 months to do this. And it's going to be in the energy and environment sector. So we're going to get 8 teams from across the UK universities in. And because it's a shorter program, we really want to bring in some corporates into this. And so hearing Fumiko talk about the activities at Mitsubishi, I was thinking there's a real potential there to engage with Fumiko into the program and other organizations like that, which have challenges in this net zero, which they've got to achieve by this 2050 target. And for the researchers to understand what those are and how their research may be able to be applied to those challenges is really what the program will be about. We want to hear from lots of corporates that might wish to do that. So if there's anyone that we're working with that's on the call today, then please do get in touch with us, because we'd love to engage you into the program.
And I know that you've held back the launch for today, haven't you, of this? So all the information will be out there, and it's I think one of the things that impresses me so much about the energy environment ICUR challenges is it's a sprint. We're in a hurry. Our companies are in a hurry. We're going to be accelerating this development, some ideas from the lab to get them to marketplace. So an exciting initiative that once again with momentum. We have talked about the good stuff. I do want to just spend a few minutes as a panel reflecting on what's to be done. I don't think we can get too complacent or too triumphant yet. Fumiko, if I could turn to you first of all, I wondered what your thoughts were on the gaps in the climate tech sector, our sector, that what needs still to be addressed by organisations like Mitsubishi, SETsquared, UK and Japanese universities. What do we still have to do?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And I think that, this area is a very challenging area because many times there's no spot solution. It's like integration or combination of technology or solution to really make the things different. So I think that as you're doing in SETsquared, that bringing in the technology expertise together with business expertise is something maybe more and more needed. And also like being the hub for this kind of community. And also, yes, maybe I touched it before, but I feel like a Climatetech especially is also sometimes infrastructure market, which is very conservative. Doing some test or trial takes a long time and a lot of money. So also like government support or also, you're connected with government a lot, but like also promoting this kind of trials and test beds and so in the infrastructure area to make it more easy and maybe, make a virtual version or so to be transferred into the real estate, that some kind of like a system is maybe needed to really facilitate that, which actually I feel like a gap, because if you really want to put one solution early stage into the real world, it's usually very difficult. So like this transition to be happen for also corporate to join that effort, but also maybe a lot of stakeholder to make it happen will be great, that this virtual testbed is certified to go to the next stage or something like that, for example, to start with. So I think the biggest thing is not spot solution and need a lot of like hands to put together. And I feel like your activity, university activity, is also be a hub for bringing this together. And also I'm very happy to join many of your initiatives that Karen, you just mentioned. And I know that there is like 200 accelerator running in Japan at the moment. But maybe you don't know it because many times it's written in Japanese. But I think there's a lot of initiative is really happening all over the world, but it's not connected. So that's,
you know, Fumiko, I think David Manuel on the text has asked the question, you know, how typical is your approach compared to other Japanese industrial conglomerates? But you said maybe over 200 accelerator programs like this. Are you, Mitsubishi's, I know, is a leader in this accelerator ecosystem approach. But are you well connected with other accelerator programs, other corporate programs?
So because we started this program, accelerator program, for the first time from last year, we actually go and talk with many people, and also, yeah, try to learn like what's going to be the successful case compared to the kind of difficult cases. So yes, and also actually CVC also are really connected. Even like we are maybe competitor in the business side, CVC is a little bit different role that we sometimes collaborate, because we know that actually working together makes sense in this field. So yes.
Thank you. Look, Pippa, sorry, if I kind of characterize it a little bit. Karen's talked about how we develop the talent, you know, a lot of it from the university labs, and Fumiko about the global network of accelerator programs, you know, to crack some of these really tricky, expensive infrastructure plays. What are your views on the gaps? What do we, people like us, still have to work on building the finance and innovation infrastructure to enable this to happen? What needs still to be done?
So I think the IKEA program is a really great example of a program that will have a genuine impact in terms of, you know, giving that really crucial early stage support to it's usually PhD scientists, right? So like scientists from the lab, and helping them to grow into venture scientists and commercialize their ideas. And so I would love to see, you know, many more programs of that kind. You know, I think there are other groups in the UK who are doing a good job of taking a bit more of a bottom-up approach, so saying like, where are the big gaps still, and let's focus innovation on those areas, either by setting challenges or, you know, specifically building ventures around those gaps. So, you know, I think more of both of those would be great. And in particular, I think, you know, the kind of the challenges or venture building approach can help to fill in some of those really big gaps, rather than just having more companies who are addressing the same problems from a, you know, slightly different or kind of more incremental angle.
Yeah, no, too true. I'm also thinking about the university government role, which, you know, SETsquared's got that enjoy that unique privilege, quite intense sometimes, but it is a privilege. We have to remind ourselves. But we do have access to great resources as a result, and one of the areas that I'm really seeing a lot of action on is the creation of digital twins. Exactly what Fumiko was talking about. So we have a digital twin project around smart cities, which a number of our companies are involved in and do R&D from. So it's a digital emulation of a city environment. They can model their environmental impact on us, companies that Colin Staken's working with. And we also have a digital twin project on an aeroplane wing as well, which you know, sounds simple, but they're phenomenally complicated devices, and that digital twinning is in our experience, a really great device for accelerating very early stage companies, but to allow them not a good choice of words, to play in a digital environment in order to prove the concept and accelerate things on. This is the sort of investment that you need to have the trust of large corporations, government, and the universities to be able to get. Those assets are absolutely invaluable for companies.
Yeah, I think modelling has always been a really important part of early stage innovation, and it can often enable a company to go from that kind of 0 to 1 investors to say, well, we've got something that works, you know, in this modelling environment, and now we need to build a real world example.
Hey, that's a great idea, Karen. We should get some of the ICUR projects to go and have a go at these digital twins, design an aeroplane for us.
Yeah, we've got a digital twin application on the current ICUR cohort at the moment. Yeah, and they're from the University of Bath. So, and they're in that whole 3D modelling area. So it's already been done, Simon.
No, it's happening. It's happening. All right. Hey, look, time is moving on again. Oh my goodness me. In no particular order. Karen, thank you very much for updating us on ICUR. I'm glad that that's open for business now. I know you're interested in projects from universities, but also corporate supporters, mentors to help them to accelerate those great ideas. Pippa, thank you again. You're such a great supporter of SETsquared, and really appreciate your time this morning and everything that you do for us. And Fumiko, really, thank you so much for joining us this morning, this evening, and sharing your thoughts. If any of you are able to hang around for the breakout rooms, I know all of the companies are there in their breakout rooms and keen to speak. But with this, I'm going to call this panel to a close and ask everybody for great thanks to our speakers. Thank you very much. And now, in the final section of this morning's roundtable, it gives me great pleasure to ask Masahide Sakishige to join me on the stage. Good morning, Masahide. Masahide, Deputy Director General of Jetro London. Great to see you.
Great to see you. Thank you very much for the opportunity this time.
I don't want to tempt fate, but this event is a partnership between Jetro and SETsquared, and I think it's gone really well so far. So absolutely delighted with the way things are working out between our two organisations. Jetro is a new term for many of the UK ventures participating in the webinar today. Could you tell me and the delegates a little bit more about Jetro?
Sure. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Firstly, so Jetro is Japan's government agency for promoting trade and investment between Japan and the rest of the world. Jetro London is one of branch offices and investment team here provides various services to UK startups and SMEs to support the objective of entering the Japanese market. What we do from our London office is to introduce UK startups to Japanese companies VCs through Jetro's network and provide them with the opportunities to participate in Japanese startup events. We also offer temporary offices in 6 cities across Japan, including Tokyo and Osaka. Our Jetro's client companies can use these offices when they visit Japan. And in order to set up the offices in Japan, we provide specific information to them, which includes, and firstly, the Japanese market and industry. A second, consultation services by legal, HR-related, and tax-related experts. Third is licensing and legal-related matters. And fourth is national and local government incentives. All these support services are provided in collaboration with our headquarters in Tokyo and our Jetro's local offices across Japan. For more information regarding our services, which I've mentioned, please feel free to contact Jetro London for any queries.
Yeah, that's thank you so much for reaching out to SETsquared. It was a few months ago with this idea, and you, Jetro, provide such a great resource into the Japanese market, and of course the Japanese market is a significant feature are the corporations that Japan has been so successful in developing, which have a global reach. So this is a tremendous asset for our companies. And of course, you're a great bunch of people to work with. Now, the thing about Jetro is you work across all different sectors, but we're here today to talk about climate tech, climate change. And as we know, COP26 will start soon. And as Fumiko told us, I understand Japan has declared to realize carbon neutrality by 2050. Thank goodness this is good news for us all. Tell me a little bit more about Japanese strategy towards this target. Could you outline the main features?
Certainly, I'll explain to you. New policy, green growth strategy through achieving carbon neutrality in 2050 was announced to set new greenhouse gas reduction target for 2030, aiming to reduce greenhouse gas emission by 46% compared with 2013 levels. And in order to support private companies with their future challenges in this field, such as making bold investment for innovation, the strategy specified 14 promising fields that are expected to grow. For example, carbon recycling and various renewable energies. So this part, so Fumiko-san, as I mentioned before. And this strategy focuses on international cooperation. And this year, we have designed a new platform called JBridge, which aims to facilitate this.
No, yes, the JBridge, as we can see from the logo, I see it has been a big feature of our collaboration. So coming into this with fresh eyes on this Friday morning, could you explain what a JBridge is, for our company?
Sure. Okay. JBridge is a platform created to expedite open innovation between Japanese companies and overseas startups to support their businesses outside of Japan. In Europe, we focus on carbon neutrality. Around 200 Japanese companies are registered as JBridge members. And once we receive the introductory information provided by UK startups, their company's information is uploaded on JBridge site for the members to view. If Japanese corporates are interested in arranging a meeting with these startups, JETRO will facilitate this. And these registered startups may also receive the invitation to the online event, as JETRO's offices around the world hold so many online events, and registered startups may have the chance to participate in by receiving invitations. For example, our office in Germany held an event under the theme of energy efficiency and smart grid technology last month. At the time, 3 UK startups were invited and participated in that event. Anyway, so we aim to create excellent opportunities with the functions of JBridge platform, and we would appreciate the application from UK startups. So if you're interested in the application, please contact JET London first, and so we will provide the instruction of how to register. So please contact us on the email first. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you for that advert. No, I must say that's I can see that you're going to get a lot of response to that. I can see that JBridge will become a UK J-bridge between our respective ecosystems. There's been a lot of interest in today's events, as I know we dealt with one of the questions, but we also have questions from Greg, Patrick, Michal on the text. And guys, I promise I'll get those questions over to, I think, mainly for Fumiko and Pippa there, and we'll get back to you on the messaging system. Now, Masi, this is the beginning of our partnership, and I'm really pleased with what the journey we're on together. So I'm going to flag that we have plans for our next roundtable, investment and innovation roundtable, and this is going to be on advanced networks, 5G, 6G, and beyond, and we're going to be holding that on the 25th of February. Really important market for Japan, some really pivotal organizations in Japan, and the same for the UK. I'm looking forward to that. So I think this draws us to the close of this part of the show. Thank you very much again, Masahid, and to all of the panelists, the speakers, and everybody for joining us this morning. Really quite a big group to get together from around the planet, and I hope that we have galvanized those people going to COP26 to get the job done and lay out the future for us and our companies for the net zero. Let's hope that's definitely the case. But of course, please stick around. The breakout rooms they're not open now, they're going to be open imminently, and through the breakout rooms, that will give you the chance to click on the company that you would like to go visit, and they're representative of the company there. And then in the breakout rooms, you can then switch from one company to another, and always return back here to this main room where myself and colleagues can guide you around Zoom to make sure you get to see everybody that you want to see. If you can't stay, then please you can fill out a contact form, and then we can make sure that you put in contact with each other or with the companies that are in the pitching today. And of course, we can connect you with some of the really exciting initiatives that we've got going on. You heard from Colin Stakem, SETsquared Scale-Up Program's new campaign for sustainable technologies, from Karen Brooks, the new ICURE program for energy environment cohorts, and of course from Masahid on the J-Bridge initiative as well. All really useful programs to support the growth of innovation in this critical sector. So thanks to everybody, thanks to you for being here. And with that, unless I've forgotten anything, Emily, let's declare the breakout rooms open. Thank you, everybody. Thanks to the SETsquared team and the JETRO team for making this happen. It's been amazing. Really well done.